Yeah. Gotta aim for the top like. Hold up. Yeah. I can never doubt myself. I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better.
Here's a fact. If you ask yourself that question, does this feed my faith, my family, or my finances? And it doesn't. If you do that, I guarantee it'll guide your decisions.
No, I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh.
Welcome to the Now or Never podcast, all things entrepreneurship, people who just take life and kick it square in the ass. I'm your host, Tim Rexius, with my special, amazingly beautiful guest, my wife, Brittney Rexius.
Hey.
You know, I don't think you've been on one this year. Huh?
I haven't.
No.
I know everybody misses me. Yeah. I'm back.
Kept doing my podcast takeovers last fall, and then I did my ratings, so I had to kick you out a little bit.
I know, but now I'm back. So.
Yeah. You know, so this is a Q&A session. We'll just get some questions. Some people like to ask questions when it's Brittney and I specifically. A lot of it's got to do with vision casting and those kind of things. And so we threw them up on Instagram, and here are your questions answered. So we'll get right into it. Let's see. What do business owners underestimate the most?
Time commitment.
I would agree 100%. Time commitment.
A lot of people have a false vision of what it actually takes to start and grow a business and keep it growing. A lot of people just think, hey, I can open the doors and here it is. People are going to flock to me because I'm popular. And I had a quote the other day that said it's easier to turn a customer into a friend than it is to turn a friend into a customer.
1,000%.
And that is absolutely true. So I think it's time.
Well, it is time, and you're 100% correct with that. It is a hell of a lot easier to turn customers into friends than get your friends to become customers. I still have people to this day who do not shop very often in our stores or even have memberships at our gym 4.5 years later that are some of my best friends who do go to gyms, just not ours.
Yeah.
And it's a convenience issue, which I understand. I mean, I get at a certain point in time because I just haven't done enough yet, but it's time. It's the beginning, middle, and end time. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's not even hard. Like we always say with running Rexius shops, right? It's not hard. It's not difficult. No. It's just fucking busy. And it's busy. And I see some people get into business and they're trying to skip ahead to the end of what they think the story is.
Yeah.
You're an overnight success. Yeah, it took me 20 years to become one. Mm-hmm. And they see the things they want to see. You know, they see maybe the nicer cars. They might see that the decent house. Not realizing that when we moved into our house, it was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then not realizing that we were both running busted ass vehicles for a long time. That there was a lot of commitment there financially and all those things, but it took time. And so, like I've said before, even the staff, even when you're an entrepreneur, right, into business owner, like a small business. If you're an entrepreneur, you're part of a small entrepreneurship venture. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you have to be the head person, guy or gal, but it means that you're part of that process. Is you're giving up things in the beginning. You're giving up income. You're giving up 401ks. You're giving up, extra PTO. You're giving up a lot of those things. The 401k route, the retirement route, the pension, all that shit. And so for the first 5, maybe sometimes 10 years, but I say definitely 5. You're going to be at a slower pace than your friends, your people in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
But in 10 to 15 years, you will be 10 times the distance they are because the rapid expansion, especially if you get something like stock ownership, stock options in the company, those kind of things, cash bonus equivalencies, whatever your compensation program is, like you can be significantly higher because you're part of something in the beginning. We had Brian Teach and Mike Fox on last week. Now, Brian's been around First Form since 2012. They have like 3 employees, and now they have 180 employees or 200 employees in a 180,000 square foot facility, and that's just nuts. It just gives you opportunity. I think it's time. It's just people want to be the business owner that they think what business owners do, but they actually have no idea.
Yeah, they
don't understand that there's a lot of things we give up: time with our kids, time with our families, time for vacations, like Brittney for firsthand, but I won't do. I mean, maybe once every 2 or 3 years, I'll do a 5-day stint, and it's for the kids. It's a trip for us. I don't that way they can have some experiences, but I don't do that.
Yeah,
it's 2 to 3 days max, and so that's why Vegas is always traditionally a spot we go to because it's a direct flight and rooms are free. That's why. It's just because I can get in and out. I can fly back. The times work, and because I can't be gone. Because as a business owner, nobody does my work when I'm gone. It just accumulates, and people still want to get paid. Rent still needs to get paid. Bills and deposits have to be done. People need product orders have to be done. Shit's not getting done. And now we're at the 12-year mark in some of the companies, and we're still not to where we want to be. People think, like, I've had people who just don't understand business being like, yeah, just start that thing, have somebody else run it. I'm like, listen, if you find somebody else who's worth the shit running it, they're going to become your competitor real fast and put you out of business. I don't know anybody who's making millions or who's making money at all, who's not working their freaking face off. So, I mean, how many times I've been here late at night, I'll show back up to come here at 9:00 at night. That way I can give the time to my kids. You realize that the business still has to get done. I'll come back after they go to bed at 9. I'm working. The funny thing is, so is Chad. Chad's still here. And then I'm like, I'm not leaving before Chad leaves. So then Chad leaves, and then like a half hour later, I'm like, all right, I can slide out now. I feel good. But that's because he's in his first couple of years of his entrepreneurship thing, and he's still grinding. And sometimes shit just has to get done. When he doesn't have the staff, being a smaller production company, sometimes Chad just has to fucking do it. Yeah, and that's just work. And Chad and I've had this conversation before that we'll bitch to each other, but we still have to fucking do it. Right. Otherwise, you don't get paid.
You can bitch all you want, but work still has to get done.
Well, that's just it. I mean, how many nights a week do you think lately, Chad, you've been here till freaking midnight?
Too many. Exactly. Yeah, way too many. No, but it is true though. I mean, I think though, that was the thing. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do what I have to do to get it done. I did not realize it was going to be this intense, but after being around you and obviously listening to this podcast, I not only record it, but I also have to edit it. And so I listen to it twice. And so, but it does absorb. So that's the advantage I get. And there's some things that you guys have talked about that have been very beneficial, because I'm like, if you want it to work, you got to grind. And then when you talk about growth, I mean, I guess that's for another question, I suppose. But I just think like that is definitely, underestimated how much time you have to grind.
It does. And I think a lot of it, people think that how to say this? Like,
they understand what grind is.
They don't understand what grind is. And grind is not posting on Instagram. You're not grinding.
That's right.
I mean, grinding when we grew up, you were at the dance club doing shit you probably shouldn't do that your parents would kick you out for. Now, all of a sudden, it's like hashtag.
That was an MTV show.
Yeah, right. The grind.
The grind.
Yeah. Like, I'm grinding, but my kids are just like, oh my God, shut up, Dad. I'm sure they're listening to this shit. I'm going to make them listen to this. That's the thing. People are like, well, and that's the thing we talk about turning customers into friends. You can't turn friends into customers. Is people overestimate their popularity exponentially. Yeah. Oh, like I know all these people. I've got 100 people from my church. I've got 100 people from over here. They're going to come shop my business, which really means you have 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's 10% of what you think you have. Yeah. I mean, it was months before I got my own family to shop at Rexius back when I started in 2010. And the only reason they came in is because I lied to them and tell them I was massively successful. And all of a sudden, like, oh, cool. They thought I was going to run a business. They didn't want to come in and, for a place they couldn't get shit at again. That's just it. And that then gets just part of the time of committing to growing your customer base and not banking on what you think your popularity is, which means that I don't care if you're seasoned. I don't care if you've done this for 20 years. I don't care if you've done this your first year. We preach this a lot. Join the chamber. Yeah. Join the networking groups. Do all of them. Do every event there is humanly possible. Shake hands, kiss babies. Because guess what, folks? A handshake and a smile will never be beaten by some garbage on social media ever, period, the end, ever. And the day I can do more in a 5-minute conversation in person than you're going to do in 6 months on Instagram. Yep. Guarantee it. If you don't believe me, let's go. Because it's not going to happen. This is a tool, right? These podcasts and social media, these are tools. But the time commitment to going out, to meeting people, like our outbound sales groups for VHI, yeah, we're DMing, we're messaging, we're doing that thing. But I'm like, all right, tell me where you want to go. Let's book a flight. Let's put some boots on the ground. Why? Because nobody else is doing it. Yeah. Everyone's trying to outsmart hard work. It's not possible. You can think of smarter ways of working, but you're not going to outsmart hard work. It's not going to happen. So that's something else that this else like brought, like what drives you. I think that ties in the next question. What drives you? I'll let you jump on that.
Honestly, seeing the impact that we have and seeing where all of our companies are going and the amount of people that we get to interact with, and leaving a legacy, not just, oh, we have X, Y, and Z for stores, gyms, whatever, but it's literally the amount of people that we get to interact with and that we get to change their lives in even the slightest way. That's what drives me, is changing people's lives from our employees to our customers.
100%. I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of it comes down to, we've talked about this before, where, we both kind of feel like we've been on borrowed time, with our past, that, God, we're still here. And in a lot of ways, we probably shouldn't be, honestly. And we're lucky. We're lucky to be here. And so I can't say I'm lucky to be here and then not give it my all every day. Like I'm at the point where I don't want to do this at 110%. I'll sell it. Is that part of what drives me? But it can't be all about just making money. And that's why I tell people, like, it can't be financial. There's nothing wrong with having materialistic wants and desires. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be in business if people didn't have fucking wants. So, I want to look better, get a gym membership, get some supplements. I want to feel better. Come and get some supplements, get a gym membership, blah, blah, blah. Get a healthy snack, get some OPP, whatever. This is my entire thing is about helping people look and feel better. Right. Yeah. And so part of that, there's nothing wrong with that. If there's a car, if there's a house, if there's a things you want, but that can't be the be all end all. Right. There has to be a purpose behind all that. Like, what does it represent? Like, we spoke with our team last week about, the opportunity that's in front of us right now for that core group of 6 people is that, each person in this room can be a millionaire within the next 10 years or less. Yeah. If we grind hard enough, if we have a team that's accumulated around the same idea and vision and drive that if they follow and we lead and they become leaders and other people follow them and the whole group just expands, we can be our first form. We can be some of these companies that we aspire to be. And I told them, I go, sometimes it's that number, but it's what that number represents. Exactly. Is an ability to impact people on a larger scale. And that for us is what it is. What kind of legacy do I leave? Not just with our kids, not with our grandkids, but our neighbors. What our neighbors tell their kids about. Like, have we made that kind of impact? You know? I mean, everybody from Omaha talks about Warren Buffett, right? And everyone talks about Steve Jobs at Apple and how he's impacted society. And so there's a message, there's a note in my notes, and I see it every single day. It says, have I impacted the world like Steve Jobs yet? Now Steve Jobs was kind of an asshole, and I've been told maybe I am, but but the thing is, he's impacted how our daily lives. Now, I'm not saying I'm ever going to get there, but if I'm not striving in whatever I'm doing to achieve something like that, then I need to change pace and go to something else.
Yeah. It's kind of weird though, because you look at all the people that are like mega successful as far as whether it's financial or just they've made big advances in the world. They all kind of have a little bit of a God complex, a little bit of an asshole in them. You almost have to. Yeah. And it's not necessarily to hold people down, but if you don't reach for the top and everybody else is, because everybody else is, then you're never going to get there.
You have to be competitive.
Right. You have to be. And you kind of, I'm not saying you should hold people down because there are people like that. And those people to me aren't necessarily successful. Yeah. It's kind of a faux success, right?
It's either they're fake successful or they inherited it.
Yeah. Right. And I think that that's really the thing to understand is there's nothing wrong with reaching for the top. Right. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with being competitive.
As long as, you're not holding others back. And that's the one thing that I think that makes you the most successful is that you are trying to build people up. You do root for other people.
Well, 100%. And the thing is that we told them, I would bring everybody up with me. Yeah. But also at the same point, you have to be, and this is something maybe I don't articulate well enough. And I talked about it with my team last week. I haven't probably articulated this well enough. I mean, she knows, we talk about it, but yes, I'm going to bring you all with me. But if you're in the fucking way, you're gone. Yeah. Because I do not want to be around people who do not have goals they want to crush. This is why I ask everyone, what's your 5-year, 18-month, what's your 1 year, your 18-month, your 5-year, and your 10-year goals? And I got to get you goal-oriented because if you're not goal-oriented, you're not solution-oriented. Right. And all you do is bitch because people are perpetually complaining. It's our nature. So if we're going to be solution-oriented, we have to be goal-oriented, right? We have to get a solution to get to our goal. If you don't have a goal, it's pretty easy to sit there and bitch. Yeah. And so that's the whole point. It doesn't make me a jerk. And I've had issues with firing people because of this, because I don't want to be that footnote in their story. I want to be the guy that gave them a chance. And so I do get used to a certain degree and it pisses people off. And I get it. And I understand it's a calculated decision. But at the same point, do you have goals? If somebody screws up, right? If somebody screws up in our company, I don't fire them. I ask them okay, we can take that as a lesson. Everyone else around us, we can as a team take that lesson and learn from it to get better. Yeah. As long as you're okay, I fucked up, I'm owning up to it, and this is my goal. This is what I want to crush. This is how I'm going to fix it. Right? If you sit there and just tell me you fucked up, and you blame everyone else around you, you got to go. Yeah. Because then you don't have the right kind of culture to be here, and so that's the thing. It's for us to really get to that next level, we have to have a team around us that have that same kind of drive and understanding. We actually had that meeting with our team and kind of segueing a few other questions, but is it like, hey, there's enough love in this room that when we meet, like, hey, if I'm not, I've told this firsthand, I've told this in text, I've put this in person. I go, if I'm not holding up my end of the bargain, you have full clearance to get passionate on my ass and tell me, because I need to be challenged to be the best. I mean, a blade doesn't stay sharp unless it's sharpened. All right, you have to sharpen the blade, and I want to keep progressing. I have goals, and everybody sits around and kisses my ass and doesn't tell me like, hey, you're slipping.
Yeah.
And I'll be real, like I have not held my own standard of accountability on my own health. I've let it slip 100%, and I got to own up to that shit right now. Right now, today on this podcast, I'll own up to it. I sacrifice my health for the betterment of other people in business because I am so goddamn busy. And here's the thing. If you think you're busy, I don't know anybody busier than I am. I just don't. I don't know anybody busier than us. There's 6 kids and 3 companies, and we are fucking busy. I love it, but I will let my health slide. I'll eat my feelings. I own 3 gyms, kids. I end up going there to clean shit half the time. Or people, in the nicest way, drive me goddamn nuts because they want to talk to the guy. Oh, hey, can you fix my account? Oh, hey, I bought some in your store. They're customers. And so, of course, me being me, I'm my own worst enemy. I'll talk to them the whole time because I really do appreciate them being a member and buying supplements in our stores and supporting our brand, because that puts food on the table for our kids. And there was a point in time where we could barely put food on the table for our kids. So I am truly appreciative. But in that aspect, because my dedication to business is so high and is still wanting to be a good father and a good husband, I let my health slip. I am the worst. I'm the most out of shape I have been since I started Rexius Nutrition in 2010. And I had a good friend of mine who works for us and who I love dearly. We were just hanging out, and I was helping him move shit the other day, and he goes, man, yeah, you look a little thick. You don't even look comfortable. You're about to sweat. I go, shit, like I know it. And I always tell her, like, quit lying to me. I'm your chubby hubby, the kid's fatty daddy, whatever you want the name is. But here's accountability. So I have not been doing my work. If I want it bad enough, I'll dedicate and find the fucking time to do it. So I am. And we are I'm full blown in. And give it 90 days, kids. And then 90 days, and we're going to have some massive transformation. But that's the thing, is I wasn't held accountable. But the thing is, without a team around me to tell me that I need to challenge myself, I need to grow, this is what I can do better as, just a person, as a CEO, as a part of the team, as a husband, as a father, I want to be better. And we can't sit around and get better if we don't have people around us in our trusted core group calling us on our bullshit, because we'll feed ourselves our own bullshit 3 times a day, 3 hefty meals. And that's the thing, is people very rarely like to take the blame on themselves. And this is an accountability thing. We're like, hey, let's call. And that's the great thing about us. And that's kind of what's driving me, is that I have this team now. And that's why I'm like foot on the accelerator. Everyone else is idling. I'm like, let's go. I feel like I have the fucking dream team. Right now, and for y'all growing up, like 92, I got Jordan, I got Ewing right now, I got Scottie Pippen, I got Spud Webb. I mean, I got them all, right? Like, we're ready to go play, and that's where I feel like I'm at right now. The season hasn't started, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where it is, and so it's a very exciting time, but that's what drives us. So, how many shops and gyms do you want around the country? Let me make this very clear about the gyms. Outside of the metro, never going to happen. I may license the name out, but we won't own anyone on the metro. Gym ownership.
Somehow I've heard that never about the Iron Heaven gyms. I've heard never a lot of times. And what ends up happening is
firm never, though. Gym ownership.
It's like
you can't run a gym out of town.
No hot tub. Ain't got a hot tub yet. You brought that shit up 2-3 years ago.
There will never be a hot tub.
Here's the thing with the gyms. We're like, you should put a gym here and put it. I go, guys, gym ownership is very fucking expensive.
Yes.
B, you have to have other sources of income and plan on not making any money for 3 to 5 years. Because we didn't do a single payout to over 3 years to the Langer family or the Rexius family, and copious amounts of debt, because you have to be able to roll the punches. And that's the thing, is like, and then thank God we have a Steve. So we have a GM around who's able to jump around, who likes to stay as busy as any human being on the planet. And so we've got him to go around and do shit, but it's an expensive process. Our particular model works because of our costs scenario, how we run. It's very unique. And so I'm willing to license the name out, possibly, and allow people to help them set up and get that process going, and do some sort of fee for that. And then after that, it's on them. But there's a reason why Gold's Gym filed bankruptcy, 24 Hour Fitness filed bankruptcy, LA Fitness sold off half their gyms, cold supplements, because it's not a great model. It's very hard to run. Everyone thinks they understand, but they have no idea. And all those friends we talked about in the last question, they're not going to sign up. They're just not. It's one of those, because they're afraid that because of their friendship, that if you have to tell them, when they have to tell you they want to cancel, that's going to ruin the friendship. So they won't come in at all. Trust me. And it's a very unique situation in that aspect.
And how many Rexius stores are around right now?
30.
That's amazing.
And we're opening, Gretna should open here in the next few weeks. And everybody else, and so that's the gyms. The stores, as long as there's good people rocking it, I'm good. And so we've been talking to a brokerage firm at the point now, like everything we've done has been in-house. And I love people and I love seeing franchise ownership. We just sold our Sioux City location yesterday. And today's his first day owning it. He's been managing it for me for 3 years. Great kid. Jack Peterson is going to do great. We're going to be helping along the whole process of the accounting, everything else. And it's going to take 6 months to really get him used to that other foot. But in watching Bellevue, I think they broke the store record, single day sales record yesterday. They're in their 5th or 6th month. And that's just awesome. Watching Guffey out in West Dodge and Josh up in Norfolk. And that's kind of where our move is. We'll be selling Council Bluffs and Kearney eventually as well. And just having our main 3 here at Omaha. And we're seeing a lot of expansion opportunities right now just because there aren't a lot of stores. GNC closed 2,000 stores. Vitamin Shop apparently is through some sort of reinvigoration, but I call bullshit. There's just a lot of Max Muscle abandoned half their franchises. It seemed loud, or at least they dropped the name. And the guys that run Max Muscle are pretty nice guys. I got nothing bad to say about them, but complete shut down all theirs. And so there's a lot of expansion opportunity. But the problem is I just don't have the staff in house to handle the influx, because the last 2 we've done very well called people that we really liked, and they all pulled out last minute because of financial concerns, which I understand. At the same point in time, I don't have the time to put that much into it. So we have the infrastructure to support 50 or 60 more stores with our structure right now. Our warehousing capabilities, our in-house staff, and as far as the selling and figuring out the finances, all that stuff. So we're going to be brokering that out effective this year to some different brokers to help us find financially qualified candidates in different areas of the country. We know in certain areas like Tennessee and Mississippi and there's just not a lot of stores. There won't be any in Iowa. Like here, this is our next door state, and we need to be in Ames, Dubuque, Davenport, the Quad Cities. We need to be in Des Moines again. We need to be Cedar Rapids. There's a lot of areas like Sioux Falls. Like we're already paying for registration in South Dakota. Sioux Falls, Brookings, Pierre, Western Nebraska, North Platte, Chadron, whatever. Minnesota, we're registering in Mankato. Why aren't we and that's the thing, is that we just haven't had the time to go out and sell them. Everything that's come into our business has been completely organic, and but we're gonna put the foot on the gas pedal with this too. I need to hire outside people that we know and like and trust to go out and do the financial qualifications. We have an in-house financing firm that does a lot of the financing if you don't have the credit wherewithal to get it on your own. But I want to see us in. We're in 9 states right now. I'd like to see us expand in the states we're in. If we go to some new states, cool. The one in Arkansas is killing it. I would love to see the South explode. The one in Hot Springs is absolutely destroying. And so I think we're going to see a big expansion in the South. But I think it's a lot of context. We need to get in touch with brokers and get that stuff done. So it's going to be interesting. What were some of the hardest things to say no to when building your dreams?
I bet Brittney's got some good ones.
I don't know. You start. I'll come back. Come back to me on that one.
What were some of the hardest things to say no to when building your dreams? Oh, there's a lot of things. I had to tell our kids no. That's probably the hardest. I'm okay living without myself. But it's really hard as a parent to tell your kids no. They can't have the new game system. They can't have a new bike. I know Ty and Liv and even Noah, when they were little, like every Christmas present they got was used on Craigslist. Every bike. I don't think I've ever bought any of the kids a new bike, and now none of them ride bikes because I kind of feel I want to go buy them all brand new bikes now that I have some money. But I never did. I would clean them up in the back, and like when I started Rexius, and Tyler got a new bike, right? And I got it on Craigslist. Paid them a little extra to come drop on the store because I worked open and close. I'm in the back cleaning it up with a rag and trying to make it look cool and fix all the shit because that's what it was. Very hard.
Yeah.
Thank God but I think it also was great humility for my kids. But we finally got a Wii. It was used. It was 3 or 4 years after they came out. I got it I bought it used from a rental-owned center that had too many, and they've been renting rent-owned, those rent places for like, half price. And of course, after shit didn't work. And but I think that's probably the hardest thing to get to where we are. And at the end of the day, it even though your kids just need love and intentional time, at the end of the day, it's still hard as a parent to not be able to provide certain things to them that you'd like to. That, I think one of the worst parts was the healthcare, because I was on my own. It was 2010, 2011, single income family. I'm just absolutely getting my ass kicked. I'd gone through bankruptcy just to start the business. And so I'm literally broke. And my son needed an MRI. They didn't need it. It was probably, could have helped with his physical disability. And with my age, I had no insurance. It was $5,000 that I didn't have, and the hospital wasn't willing to play ball because it wasn't medically necessary, but it wasn't emergent. Right. And I had to come up with at least half, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. And so I had to tell this, my kid, and he's 6 years old, and he understands, he's cognitive, that he has a physical disability, he had a stroke when he was a baby, that I can't get it done. So there's been a lot of hard things, to be honest with you, but I think most of them for us will become around just as parents. Yeah. Just things that we wanted to do for our kids that we just did not have the financial wherewithal. Like, I love to do what some of our friends have been able to do, over the last 10 years when we couldn't, and take kids on a 7 to 10 day vacation and cruise around the world and go do the whole Disney experience. But A, we were broke. And B, because we own businesses, we're not able to take off that much time. We're still at the infant stages.
I want to know what Brittney had to tell Tim no about.
Listen,
no, you can't have that truck. No, you can't.
Honestly, I don't tell Tim no on anything.
That's right, folks. You hear that? That's right. Never tells me no.
He's the luckiest guy in the
I am
world.
not the wife that is going to tell him what he can and can't do. He is a grown ass man, and he can make those decisions, but he can also
Kelly, are you listening?
Are
you listening?
But he doesn't really tell me no either. I mean, he tells me to slow down on spending at times, and then I just look at him and flash him, and then that's out the window. So then we're good. But we don't really have that type of marriage where we tell each other you can and can't do this. We did set limits on no new businesses for 2021. Did we hold strong on that?
We opened a new location of one of the businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, and we expanded. We added staff. So. But
no, I mean, I come from a small business family. Yeah. And so I know what the grind looks like. Yeah. And I know that there's always going to be a ton of risk, and at some point even now there's rewards, and so no, I don't really say no. I don't know. Well, I think the hardest no is probably with kids and being time and saying, no, I can't make that because we have to do this, or no, we can't do that.
Even like right now, we've had to, even when they were littler, they didn't have as many events. Yeah. And so we were able to make it so that her and I could go to everything together with the kids. We really worked hard on our calendar and our schedule to do so. Yeah. That's not possible now.
No.
They're older. They have way more shit going on. Our businesses are busier, which you think, hire more people. Kids. I'll explain that in a minute. That's not possible. And we'll get to that in a minute. But so the thing is, I have to go to the basketball game. She's going to the baseball practice, or somebody's going to dance and somebody else has got driving lessons, or whatever it may be. Or somebody has to go get squeaks and we have to relieve the babysitter, or somebody has to go run product to the post office or UPS because they didn't pick up at the warehouse. And, you see our staff, they have personal lives. I'm not putting all that shit on them. We're part of a team. So we all jump in, or, hey, somebody just called in sick. Okay, well, who can cover? Well, here's how it works with small business folks. If no one else can cover, the owners cover. Yep. And that's happened.
I just want to know when you guys are having number 7.
I try for twins every night. Every night.
Just kidding.
Every night.
If God has that plan, then number 7 will happen.
We're not preventing anything. I mean, and I chase her around like a 17-year-old kid all the damn time. So, I have, maybe that's about my maturity level. So, and like the people said about the business, I would just hire people. You can go do all these things. It does afford me certain freedoms to be the kind of dad and get to do certain things. As long as I can plan it out ahead of time. It's the short notice shit we just can't do. Yeah. Whereas if you work a 9 to 5 and you're off at 5, you can have weekends off. You can shut the business off We can't. It's 24/7, 365 for life. And that's just part of the deal. And two, understand costs have risen, right? So all the property values are up. Mm-hmm. Well, when you rent commercial spaces, you're paying your pro rata share of the commercial property expenses, including taxes and operational expenses. Gas is up. Well, they instantly mow lawns and they move snow and they do all that shit, right? Concrete's up massively through the roof. Well, parking lot needs repaired, right? Taxes are up because the property values are pro rata share. So all my costs are going up. And because I have to match my prices with dipshits like Amazon.com, my margins are low. My costs have risen. My margins have shrunk. So which means the profit has shrunk, which means you have less for ability to hire people to do crap so you can just take time off.
Yeah.
In fact, we're working more now than I did 12 years ago. Straight facts, and that's just how it is. So we did have a supplement question come in. So, I mean, this really should be a different kind of podcast, but I'll answer it anyways because I like this kid. Thoughts on supplements like testosterone and testosterone? Like I said, I butchered that spelling. Steroids are basically like 20-hydroxytestosterone is the same as testosterone. They come from plants, usually from spinach, green vegetables, also known as a phytochemical in insects that they're overpromised. Let me put it that way. There's not enough affinitive information in human don't want to say trials is the wrong word, but in human experiences, it's just inconsequential right now. But basically it binds as an estrogen beta receptor as a protein synthesis molecule, which it does work, but is it worth the price you're paying? That's a yes and no. It's one of those, I don't see any issues with them taking in responsible doses, 30 days max, and see how you do as long as you're on it. If you're on prep and you know what calories you're taking in, you're tracking your training, so you know your weight changes, then it's perfectly fine.
What is it? That's a steroid?
It's like a
balancer? It like balances or?
No, it's a phytosteroid. So it's a phytocholosteroids, which basically means it comes. Like plants and insects all have steroids in their system, right? It's not, you're thinking anabolic steroids, and they're trying to market this as an anabolic steroid.
Got it.
It is not a hormone. It's a precursor which binds to the estrogen receptor, which changes protein synthesis, which allows your body to build muscle tissue faster, technically speaking. It's not a steroid. It's marketed as a natural testosterone booster, which is pretty more where it's at. Anything increased protein synthesis can help improve
and what supplements
recovery.
Is that in?
There's specifically, that's what they are. That they're antisterones and testosterones, which are very popular right now with people.
I got you.
And here's the thing, kids. Understand that for the last 25, 30 years I've been in this business, around this business, they are constantly the new ingredient found in the jungles of the Amazon. This is why you're not 7 foot tall, 300 pounds of ripped diesel. But for 3 easy payments of $39.95, you too can look like The Rock. No, you fucking can't. So here's the facts. If you're not on prep and you're not training and you're tracking, you're not sleeping, you're not drinking a gallon and a half of water a day, then it's probably not going to make that much of a difference. You know, if you're 17, it really isn't, because you already have hormones that would rival anything I could possibly inject into my body. Now, if you're 41, like my damn self, I mean, a little extra boost, I'm going to fucking notice something significantly better than a 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old is, because I do have lower test. I am older. My growth hormone is lower. My body's tired. All those things. And so I don't see, there's no problem with it. I just haven't seen conclusive results from anyone who's taken it anywhere that is truly worth the price paying compared to, say, selective androgen receptor modulators, good natural testosterone boosters, dehydrogenated steroid ingestments. I think they're all fine. So try it out. I don't see a harm. I don't think they're the greatest thing. I think in a year from now, they won't exist, as I've seen about 2,000 items just like this over the past 12 years. This is like Dr. Oz was the worst. If we're, younger people listen to this, okay, Dr. Oz, Dr. Emmett, is it Oz, Emmett Oz or something like that?
I don't know.
It's some weird, nice guy. So he was on this show. He used to be on Oprah. Then he had his own show, and it's like, we researched red kidney being abstract, and this is going to make you lose 9,000 pounds.
Hey, this is the guy running for president, isn't it?
I think he was going to. He's going to run for office someplace. Yeah, because that qualifies you. Anyways, well, hey, actually, probably more qualified than half the dipshits that are there. But anyways, and all of a sudden, I would have these 30-year-old plus just lined out the door.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I am not skinny. I'm like, as you just threw away your McDonald's wrapper in the trash can on the way in the store. That's why. Okay, sure. And we would sell it. Green coffee bean extract and
raspberry
ketones and all this shit. HCG. So I ran all my TV ads from 2010 to 2015 before, during, and after the Dr. Oz show. That was the only thing I advertised, and my freaking God, it worked like a charm. And so
that reminds me of like this. So in that movie, The Hunger Games, it was like part 3 or whatever it was. They went to this party, and this is in the sort of the near future, whatever. And they're just eating. It's just like, how can you just keep eating? They're like, you haven't taken this magic pill. It like, I forgot what it was called, but that's what everybody wants, is like this magic way to be able to imbibe and to eat and to do whatever they want. And then poof.
Wasn't that the pill? Was it Ally or Ally or something that it literally just made you shit yourself?
No, all right. So the drink from the Hunger Games would make you throw up so you could eat more.
That's what it was. It was a drink.
So an Ally, which is just basically a chitosan fat blocker. Okay. So basically it was so much chitosan, which would come from shellfish, it would block your body from absorbing fat. So you could eat whatever you want, and you're fat free. Well, kids, the fat still came in, and it still has to come out. And what you did was you just put that oil on an express lane. So in the next 3 days, don't gamble on a fart. And that's what happened. And so all of a sudden, Karen would come in. You won't believe what happened to me yesterday. It's so embarrassing. I'm like, let me guess, you had Taco Tuesday, and it led to Shitty Wednesday, didn't it? And and so I just didn't want to sell this shit because I didn't want to deal with the phone calls, though they were entertaining. And it's just, and that's, you've seen so many items in this nutrition industry in the past 20, and that's VHI and OPP. Like, I'm not going to sell some bullshit. And so I had the ability to get my own testosterone, and I basically, which is an testosterone, but no, I'm not interested. I don't see that. I want things to actually make an impact that I know personally I would spend money on that, that's worth it at a reasonable price. And like it's, so yes, you EX30, right? Hold it in my hand if you're watching, if you're just listening. And it's new. We're on the radio. We're on social media. It's really taking off. People are really liking it. It's calling it a life drink. It's not really a weight loss drink, and it does help lose weight, but and hormones and mood and all these things. People love it. Like, you could really sell that. You should really sell that shit for $100. Like, figure out your marketing. This is marketing people. Like, this stuff works. Like, people will pay it. I go, no. I knew what we needed to make it at. I knew what I thought would be affordable. I knew it was actually a more affordable option than the old 3-pill weight loss systems. Yep. I don't think being healthy should break the bank. And that's just how we operate. That's just us. And so I'm not going to make products or price them at things just for the pure profit standpoint. It's just not.
Well, I'm not just
we've said this 100 times in all the videos we've ever done. If I see you in the grocery store at the Little League game, I have no problem holding my head high on what I do for a living. Exactly. I love what I do. And not everybody's going to agree with me on everything that we do, and that's fine, but my principles are there and they're firm. So, yeah. And that's all the questions I got in about 5-6 hours, which is kind of cool. But if you guys want questions, throw them in the DMs, throw messages to sales@rexius.com or Kirsten@rexius.com. She'll, if you have guest suggestions, people you want to be on the show, seriously, like, come on. I'd like to tell stories of other people's lives and their successes, because hopefully it motivates other people around. And that's our whole big thing, is help other people come up along with us. And sometimes just, if you have questions, ask. The only dumb question is the one you never ask. So thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week.
See ya.